Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every journey when everything feels like it's about to fall apart, when the pressure is overwhelming, the obstacles seem insurmountable, and doubt whispers that maybe, just maybe, you were never meant to make it. But what if I told you that this very moment, the struggle, the uncertainty, the resistance, is not the end of your story, but the signal that your breakthrough is closer than ever? You see, breakthrough doesn't arrive in silence. It announces itself through signs, through divine markers that those with eyes to see and hearts to discern will recognize. It doesn't come when everything is easy, but when the battle is fiercest. It doesn't appear when you feel strongest, but when you've reached the edge of surrender. If you have been facing unusual challenges, if your spirit is restless, if doors are suddenly opening in ways you never expected, then hear me. Something powerful is happening beneath the surface of your life. You are standing on holy ground, at the threshold of transformation. In the next few moments, I'm going to share with you 7 divine signs that your breakthrough is near. These are not vague coincidences or empty hopes. They are real, undeniable patterns seen in scripture, history, and life itself. And if you recognize them in your own journey, take heart. Your moment of victory is closer than you think. So stay with me until the very end, because what you're about to hear may be the confirmation, the encouragement, and the divine revelation you've been waiting for. Let's begin. There is a peculiar pattern in the nature of trials, one that is neither accidental nor arbitrary. It is the unspoken truth that just before a great breakthrough, the forces of opposition seem to gather with renewed strength. If you have ever felt as though everything was against you at the very moment you were on the verge of something significant, you are not alone. This is a reality woven into the very fabric of spiritual and earthly battles. History, scripture, and personal experience all testify to this principle. The greatest movements forward are often preceded by the greatest resistance. A runner nearing the finish line feels the full weight of exhaustion pressing down upon them. A student preparing for a crucial examination is suddenly besieged with distractions and doubts. A leader, poised to make an impact, faces unexpected setbacks and betrayals. These are not coincidences. They are the tremors before the breakthrough. The reason for such opposition is not difficult to understand. The closer one gets to transformation, the more threatening they become to the forces that seek to maintain the status quo. Darkness does not contest those who remain stagnant, nor does adversity trouble those who pose no threat to change. It is when an individual steps into their purpose, begins to move toward destiny, and refuses to accept mediocrity, that resistance appears in full force. Consider the life of a seed buried in the earth. For days, even weeks, it lies hidden beneath the soil. In darkness, it begins to change, to take root, to stretch toward a light it cannot yet see. And then, just before it breaks through the surface, there is a moment of greatest resistance. The soil presses down, the weight of the earth seems too much to bear, and yet it is in that final moment that the breakthrough occurs. The same is true of any significant journey. Adversity often escalates just before the final step is taken. Doors that once seemed open begin to close. Relationships that were once sources of strength become strained. Internal battles intensify. Doubts, fears, insecurities rise with renewed force. The temptation to turn back, to retreat, to abandon the path altogether grows stronger. This is the threshold of breakthrough, the moment when many falter because they mistake resistance for a sign to stop. What is often overlooked in these moments is that resistance itself is a sign. It is an indication that something is shifting, that the enemy of progress sees what lies ahead and is desperate to prevent it. The weight of opposition does not come to those who are far from their breakthrough, but to those who stand at its very edge. Even nature teaches this principle. The night is always darkest before the first rays of dawn pierce the horizon. A storm rages most fiercely just before it passes. The battle is most intense when victory is within reach. To the one facing such trials, it may feel as though everything is crumbling, but in reality, everything is aligning for what is to come. There is a unique kind of restlessness that does not stem from impatience or dissatisfaction with life's ordinary struggles. It is not the fleeting frustration of unmet expectations or the boredom that comes from stagnation. Instead, it is a deep, unshakable stirring, a holy discontent that signals something greater is on the horizon. This feeling is not an affliction to be feared, but a divine nudge, an indication that transformation is near. Such restlessness is often misunderstood, even by the one experiencing it. It manifests as an unease with what once felt comfortable, a sense that the current situation, no matter how good or stable, is no longer sufficient. The very things that once brought joy or security now seem insufficient, as if an invisible hand is gently pushing forward, refusing to let things remain as they are. This stirring can take many forms. It may appear as an inexplicable dissatisfaction with one's job, relationships, or surroundings, not due to ingratitude, but because something within recognizes that a shift is necessary. It may arise as a growing desire for change, a yearning for more depth, purpose, and meaning. It may come as an increased awareness that certain habits, patterns, or mindsets are no longer sustainable. This is not the ordinary restlessness that comes from external pressures. It is an internal awakening, a call towards something greater. Throughout history, many who stepped into a significant breakthrough first encountered this sense of divine unease. Leaders, visionaries, and pioneers often recall a season where they could no longer ignore the feeling that they were meant for something beyond what they currently knew. A once fulfilling role suddenly felt confining. A comfortable existence began to feel restrictive. The very things that once seemed desirable now felt insufficient. This was never a sign of failure or lack of appreciation. It was a sign that growth was demanding movement. The challenge in these moments is that there is rarely immediate clarity. The restlessness arrives before the direction is fully revealed. It creates tension, a discomfort that cannot be explained but also cannot be ignored. Many attempt to silence it, distracting themselves, forcing contentment, or dismissing it as a passing emotion. Yet, the more one tries to suppress it, the stronger it becomes. This stirring serves a purpose. It prevents complacency. It signals that a breakthrough is approaching, that the current stage is no longer sufficient for the next chapter. Without it, there would be no urgency to move, no reason to seek change, no willingness to embrace the unknown. Growth is rarely comfortable, and the path to transformation often begins with this inner discontent. Even nature reflects this principle. A bird, once comfortable in its nest, begins to feel confined before it takes its first flight. A seed, before breaking through the soil, first outgrows the space where it was planted. The tension of restlessness is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is a sign that what once was enough no longer is, and what is to come requires movement, courage, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. There are moments in life when the right person appears at precisely the right time, or an opportunity emerges seemingly out of nowhere, reshaping the course of one's journey. These are not mere coincidences or fortunate accidents. They are signs of divine orchestration, indications that a breakthrough is near. When the heavens begin aligning relationships and opening doors beyond human effort, it is a clear signal that a season of transformation is unfolding. Divine connections often come in unexpected ways. Sometimes they arrive through a chance meeting, an introduction facilitated by circumstances that seem too precise to be random. Other times they take the form of mentors, friends, or even strangers whose words carry the weight of destiny. These individuals may not always remain for a lifetime, but they serve a critical role, bringing guidance, encouragement, or access to places that one could never reach alone. History is rich with examples of how one key connection can alter everything. A single conversation, an unexpected partnership, or a door opened by someone in a position of influence has often been the catalyst for radical change. Many who achieved great things can trace their turning point back to a moment when someone entered their life at exactly the right time. These moments defy logic, for they are not the result of careful planning, but of divine positioning. Beyond people, divine orchestration is also evident in unexpected opportunities. Doors that once seemed permanently closed suddenly swing wide open. An offer appears that was neither sought nor anticipated. Circumstances align in ways that human effort alone could never have arranged. One of the challenges in these moments is recognizing them for what they are. Many dismiss divine connections as mere chance, failing to see the significance in what appears to be a simple encounter. Others hesitate when unexpected opportunities arise, questioning whether they are truly prepared or worthy. The truth is, when such moments come, they are not meant to be ignored or analyzed into inaction. They are an invitation, an indication that breakthrough is closer than imagined. There is also a pattern in how these connections and opportunities manifest. They rarely come in the way one anticipates. A door may open, but not in the place originally expected. A relationship may form, but through unconventional means. The path may shift entirely, leading in a direction that was never previously considered. Those who cling too tightly to their own expectations often miss the very opportunities designed to lead them forward. Even nature reflects this principle. Rivers find their way not by forcing a straight path, but by flowing where the terrain allows, adjusting and shifting as necessary. Seeds do not determine where the wind will carry them, yet they take root where they are planted. When divine connections and opportunities begin to appear, they are not random blessings, but signs that a new season is unfolding, preparing the way for something beyond what was previously imagined. There are seasons in life where everything feels uncertain, where the path ahead is obscured by doubt, fear, and a lack of direction. In such moments, it can feel as though answers are distant and decisions seem impossible to make. Yet, just before a breakthrough, something remarkable happens. Clarity begins to emerge, even in the midst of confusion. It is not always immediate or complete, but it comes in flashes. Moments of sudden understanding, whispers of wisdom that cut through the noise. This clarity is often subtle at first. It may come as a recurring thought that refuses to be ignored, a deep sense of knowing that cannot be explained logically, or a conviction that settles in the heart, even when circumstances remain unchanged. Questions that once seemed overwhelming begin to lose their weight. What was once clouded in uncertainty begins to take form, as if a veil is slowly being lifted. This process is not one of gaining full control over the future, but of receiving enough light for the next step. There is a divine pattern in how clarity unfolds. It rarely arrives in grand, dramatic revelations, but through small confirmations. A conversation that resonates deeply, a book that speaks directly to the current struggle, a moment of solitude where peace replaces anxiety. These glimpses of truth come at just the right time, often when one is on the verge of giving up or feeling lost in the process. The answers do not always provide the entire blueprint, but they offer enough certainty to move forward. One of the greatest misconceptions is that clarity comes when everything around is peaceful. In reality, it often appears in the middle of the storm. It is in the chaos, the struggle, and the waiting that a shift occurs. Many assume they must first escape their confusion before they can receive insight, but more often than not, the breakthrough of understanding happens while still walking through uncertainty. It is as if divine wisdom interrupts the turmoil, providing just enough direction to sustain hope and perseverance. This process requires attentiveness. Those who are too distracted by fear, impatience, or frustration may overlook the moments of clarity being offered. There is a need for stillness, for a willingness to listen, to reflect, and to recognize the patterns of how guidance is being provided. Many times the answers have been present all along, but the noise of worry has made them difficult to perceive. Nature itself reflects this truth. The morning mist does not lift all at once, but gradually, revealing more of the landscape with each passing moment. A traveler lost in the woods does not suddenly find a clear road, but notices small signs. A familiar landmark, a break in the trees, a path that was previously hidden. When clarity begins to emerge, it is a sign that breakthrough is near, for revelation is always the precursor to transformation. There are seasons in life where progress seems slow, where every step forward requires immense effort and obstacles appear at every turn. Yet just before a breakthrough, a shift occurs, one that defies natural patterns. Suddenly, what once took years begins to happen in mere months. Doors that remained closed for ages swing open effortlessly, and opportunities that seemed impossible arrive unexpectedly. This phenomenon is not the result of mere luck or coincidence, but a sign that divine acceleration is at work. Unusual favor is one of the clearest indicators that something is shifting. Favor is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of supernatural advantage. It manifests in ways that cannot be explained by human reasoning. Receiving an opportunity without the usual qualifications, encountering the right people without strategic planning, seeing resources appear exactly when needed. This kind of favor is not something that can be manufactured or manipulated. It is something that is bestowed, often in ways that surpass personal effort. Acceleration follows favor. There is an undeniable quickening, a sense that things are moving faster than they logically should. A project that had been stagnant suddenly gains momentum. Delays that once seemed permanent are overturned in a moment. Doors that once required years of striving open in an instant. This is not because circumstances have changed randomly, but because breakthrough is near, and when it arrives, it does not adhere to human timelines. One of the striking aspects of acceleration is that it often comes after a long season of waiting. Many experience extended periods where nothing seems to move forward, where prayers go unanswered and efforts yield little fruit. Just when it appears that nothing will change, a sudden shift takes place. This is not by accident, but by design, for time itself bends when destiny is unfolding. What should have taken decades can be accomplished in a fraction of the time. The challenge with acceleration is that it requires readiness. When things begin to move quickly, there is little time to prepare. Those who have been faithful in seasons of waiting are often the ones who can fully step into these moments without hesitation. There is a need for discernment, for recognizing when acceleration is happening and responding accordingly. Many miss their breakthrough because they hesitate, questioning whether they are truly ready when, in reality, the season of waiting was their preparation. Nature offers many examples of this principle. A tree may take years to grow beneath the surface before breaking through the ground seemingly overnight. A caterpillar spends weeks hidden in a cocoon, appearing dormant, before transforming in a moment into a butterfly. The gestation period of many great things is long, but their arrival is sudden. Those who understand this principle do not despair in waiting, for they know that when the time comes, acceleration will make up for every delay. Favor and acceleration are not random occurrences. They are signs that the season of breakthrough is no longer distant, but imminent. There is a point in every journey where uncertainty threatens to overtake faith, where the weight of delays and disappointments makes hope feel fragile. It is in these moments, just before a breakthrough, that something remarkable happens. Not in the external circumstances, but within. A deep, unshakable faith begins to rise, not because the situation has changed, but because something in the soul has shifted. This is not mere optimism or wishful thinking. It is a supernatural confidence, an assurance that breakthrough is not just possible, but inevitable. Faith does not always grow in comfort. More often, it strengthens in adversity, in the quiet struggles where there are no immediate answers, in the waiting rooms of life where time seems to stand still. Those who experience breakthrough often recall a moment before it happened, when they could feel it coming. not because they saw physical evidence, but because their spirit bore witness to it. This is the kind of faith that refuses to be shaken, the kind that does not need to see results to believe in them. Hope follows this deepened faith, not the fragile hope that wavers with circumstances, but the kind that persists against all odds. It is the hope that allows one to continue building when there are no visible signs of progress, to keep praying when answers seem delayed, to keep believing when everything suggests otherwise. This hope is not rooted in emotion or external validation, but in the certainty that what has been promised will come to pass. One of the most mysterious aspects of breakthrough is that faith often strengthens just before it happens. The greatest battles of doubt, fear, and discouragement arise right before the moment of fulfillment. It is as if the soul senses the shift before the eyes can see it, as if the heart knows what the mind has yet to grasp. Those who experience this deepened faith describe a sudden peace, an unexplainable confidence, a refusal to entertain the possibility of failure. This is not because circumstances confirm it, but because something beyond the natural realm has confirmed it within. Renewed hope does not mean the absence of struggle. In fact, hope is most powerful when it exists in defiance of struggle. It is easy to have hope when everything is going well, but the hope that precedes breakthrough is the kind that stands firm when everything says to give up. It is a hope that is tested, refined, and unbreakable. Even nature reflects this principle. The roots of a tree grow deepest in dry seasons, preparing it for the moment when rain finally comes. A seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, but the moment it is fully ready, having developed unseen strength beneath the surface. Those who understand this know that deepened faith and renewed hope are not signs of wishful thinking. They are signals that something is about to change, that the breakthrough once believed to be distant is now closer than ever. Breakthrough is never random, nor does it arrive without warning. It is preceded by signs, divine markers that signal transformation is near, the increased opposition that tries to shake your resolve, the holy restlessness that stirs within, the unexpected connections and open doors, the clarity that begins to emerge from the confusion, the sudden acceleration that defies natural timing, and the deepened faith that strengthens your spirit. Each of these is evidence that something is shifting in your favor. Those who recognize these signs do not shrink back in fear or frustration. They press forward with expectation. The darkest hour does not mean defeat, but the approach of dawn. The stirring within does not signal failure, but preparation for something greater. The obstacles that stand in your way are not there to stop you, but to test your readiness. If you are experiencing these signs, take heart. You are closer than you think. Now is not the time to retreat, to second guess, or to allow discouragement to take root. Now is the time to stand firm, to trust the process, and to believe that what is coming is far greater than what has been left behind. Breakthrough belongs to those who endure, who keep moving even when the road is uncertain, who choose faith over fear, and who recognize that the struggle before the victory is only temporary. May you walk boldly in the direction of your breakthrough, with unwavering faith and unshakable hope. May you recognize the signs, seize the opportunities, and embrace the transformation that is waiting for you. The best is yet to come, and your breakthrough is closer than you can imagine. Thank you, and may your journey be filled with strength, courage, and divine favor. Good luck.